Yo, what's up guys? Jason Ma the Magician, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you a card trick that is so good you'll be like, wow! I can't believe he teaches this for free. It combines some advanced sleight of hand with some really nice misdirection to give you a nice intermediate level magic trick that you could take through the rest of your life. Now listen, I could sit here hyping up this trick all day, but let's dive into the performance and show you what it's all about. Buy some merch, buy some merch, buy some merch, link in description below. Alright, for this trick here, we're going to be enlisting the help of the jokers, baby, and we can rip them right out of the center of the deck, lickety-split, yo. Now these cards are just going to be sat on the table. They'll help locate your selected card. Now you could name anything. It doesn't matter what card you name. Let's say you named the Queen of Clubs. That would be left in the center of the pack, and you could even mix these bad boys up if you wanted. It doesn't really matter because we'll be locating the card using genuine magic. A quick riffle, boom, one card appears in between the jokers, and with any luck, that card actually is your selected card. We've got 1, 2, 3 cards and your selection sandwiched in between the jokers. No dupes, no gimmicks, and your card, the Queen of Clubs. And that, I can't believe I'm teaching you this, okay, because this is a good trick. Boom, baby, a modern day miracle, okay? Now there's 2 ways to present this trick. One is the way that you just saw in the video. The other is that the card is simply named and then appears sandwiched in between the 2 jokers. Now, obviously I'm going to explain how you achieve both as we go, but for the purposes of video, the way that I showed you is the easiest to present the trick. That makes sense. Now, before we dive into the tutorial, make sure that you smash like if you haven't already and subscribe. Seriously, the likes, the subscriptions, they keep the channel going. They keep the algorithm lords appeased. I'll be having those likes. Anyway, without any further ado, join me in tutorial view. Right, let's start off with the Joker production. Now for this, you're going to start with a Joker on the top and a Joker on the bottom, and you're just going to use some inertia by holding the deck just sort of pinched with the pads only touching. You really want them to only contact the bottommost and the topmost card. You're just going to do this sort of whipping motion, which will cause the deck to flick out, and you should be left with just the 2 cards from the top and the bottom. Now, obviously, you want to do that into your awaiting hands. You're just going to kind of bring your hands together and flick all the cards across like this, and that should leave you with it. Now, it's not something that you can do slow. You really just want to whip the deck as quickly as possible into the awaiting hand, and then you're going to show the 2 jokers. Now, once you've figured that out, you're going to have to be able to execute this. You're going to flick the 2 jokers, show those jokers like so, and then place them on the table, and in doing all of that, you will have loaded an additional card. Now, to do this is actually not difficult at all. It's surprisingly easy. Once you flick the deck from one hand to the other, you get the 2 jokers, and as you show these to your spectator, you're just going to use your thumb, holding the deck in this dealer's grip, to push across the topmost card, and then stick your pinky underneath to hold it separate from the pack. You're going to place 1 joker on the top, and the other joker you're going to clip between the edge of the deck and your thumb like so. You're then going to reach in using your ring finger, I guess, and your thumb, and you're just going to clip both of those cards. So now you're picking up the joker and a random indifferent card. In this case, it's another joker. But you're going to pick this up. You're then going to come to where this card is over the top. Bring this card together like so. So you're kind of holding them the same way, but it really just looks like 2 cards. I like to then re-grip everything and hold it all together. I then use the deck and my thumb here just to push that card in alignment. So now all 3 cards are in alignment, and then you just drop them on the table like so. So in a single motion, you're going to flick the cards like this, show them, get your break, place 1 on top, place 1 in between the deck and the thumb, pick up this one here, pick up this one together, align those cards, and then drop them on the table like so. And now you're ready for the card selection and control. Now in the video I performed a spread cull, and I'm going to teach that here too, but I'll do a tutorial later with a more in-depth explanation on it. But in doing the spread cull, you still need the card to end up on the bottom of the deck for the purposes of the trick, and I'm going to show you how to do all of that in one cohesive motion. Alright, so overall the control is going to look like this. They pick a card, let's say the 2 here. You're going to leave that in the center of the pack, and then while they're still thinking about it or whatever, you can shuffle the cards, bringing that card to the bottom. Now the only reason I do it this way is because whenever you shuffle a deck like this, it really eliminates any kind of guilt, I guess. People really think it's a fair shuffle. It's the fairest way to do it. It's more fair than this. Like, magicians doing all this stuff here, it's too advanced. If a normal person can't do it, then, you know, it must be tricky. So to do the spread card, firstly you're going to ask them to name a card. Let's say they name the Ace of Clubs. You're then going to, with the cards spread like this, the endmost card here, you're just going to align that on top of the ace, okay? So I'm going to bring it like this. I'm going to align it as neatly as I can on top of the ace until this thumb can contact the topmost card. And then the fingers at the bottom are just going to pull that card, just kind of work it across like so. And then you're just going to use your thumb to kind of guide the rest of the cards in over the top of it like this all the way through. And it's a super clean way to control the card. You can also show singularity with the lastmost card. And then after that, you're going to immediately square it up. With an overhand style shuffle, you're going to peel off a single card, and then you're just going to drop off blocks off on top of it like this, getting it to the bottom of the deck. Now, I know that that's an oversimplification, but there is actually an easier way, and this is what I was talking about, when you can ask someone to simply name a card, and then that card appears between the two jokers. And this works way better live than it does on camera. Now, for the alternative control, which in my opinion works way better in a live performance, is you're going to ask your spectator to simply name a card, any card they want. Let's say they named the 3 of clubs. I'm going to go through the deck here, and I'm going to be like, before the 3 of clubs, did you happen to think of something like the Queen of Diamonds? To which they're going to answer, no, of course not. Why would I think of that? That's a stupid thing. But in that motion, I will have controlled the 3 of clubs to the bottom. And to do this is super simple, and it's way easier than the spread call, and in my mind, more effective. So when they name a card, let's say the 5 of hearts, I'm going to spread through the deck until I find the 5 of hearts. I'm going to keep the deck away so they can't see it, but I'm going to spread the deck until I find the 5 of hearts, in this case here. I'm going to bring that to the top, and I'm just going to ask them if they happen to think of the card that was next down, so the 6 of spades, or did they just straight away think of the 5 of hearts? And while they're answering it, I'm then going to do that same shuffle to bring that card to the bottom, and that's it. That's the way easier method, in my opinion, better for a live performance. Now that you have a firm grasp of the production, the load of the secret card, and the control of the card into the position necessary, it's now time to execute what I believe is the most difficult part of this trick, and probably is going to require the most explanation. So I believe that you can do it though. I really do. I wouldn't teach it if I didn't think that my followers couldn't handle it. Join me back in tutorial view where I teach you the crux of the trick. Right, so you've whipped the deck across, got your jokers, loaded the card in between and placed them on the table, and then you've controlled, let's say, this card to the bottom of the deck. You're now going to have to do a gambler's cop. Now, this move is not as difficult as you'd think. Holding the deck like this, okay, I've got the 2 fingers at the front, thumb at the back, this finger's just curled over here. While I'm talking to them, I'm going to come a little bit deep into my hand, maybe halfway down the palm, and using the pinky and the pad of the thumb, so the pad of the thumb is going to contact the side of the deck, and the pinky is going to pull down a single card, okay, a single card like that, right off the bottom, okay. You're going to pull that down into your hand and then place the rest of the deck up higher in your hand, keeping that card tucked away. So you'll be in this position. So from behind, that same move looks like this. You're just going to bring it deep into the hand, contacting about here. The pinky curls under, and it's just going to pull that card down into the cop. Okay, you're just going to pull it down and then kind of get it to bend into the shape of your hand, and then you just bring the deck forward into this grip here. Now, this is a lot easier than it looks and seems, and the angles on it are actually surprisingly good. So again, you're just going to kind of come back, pull that card down, bring the deck forward in a single motion. It's really not as hard as it seems. Now, Gambler's Cop is surprisingly good because if you know, the card will curve naturally into your hand, and you actually have quite a lot of room for error with this, actually. If you're just kind of breaking at the wrist, like you just naturally chill in here, you've got a deck in your hand, like it's actually, you'd have to turn your hand awkwardly far to flash the card. But when you're sitting at a table as well, the fear is that you might flash at the bottom, but you'll do this trick mostly sitting at a table, and so the card can never flash out the bottom because you just leave your hand contacting the table and the card copped in here. Just sort of relax your hand and that's it. That's all you have to do. So again, you're going to hold the deck like this, come a little bit deep into your hand, and then just peel off a single card. All right. Now you don't want to do anything too massive with it. You really want the motion to look like you're coming to your hand and then you're just going to take that card and pull this deck forward into this grip here. And you're going to say the card will be found with magic. I just like to do this. Sometimes you can get a good gust of air and it will make a card appear in between the two jokers like this. But what you're going to do now is you're going to pick up the deck, place it to the side, pick up all three of these cards, place them about halfway into the same position like so. So now you're holding it like this. And then you're going to come over here like so, and you're going to use your thumb to push this card using all these fingers to make sure that it guides neatly underneath. You're essentially going to push this card in alignment with the rest of them. So again, you're going to pick up the deck, place it to the side, pick these up, put them in your hand, square them up, and I like to just, you're just going to use your thumb to pull that card into alignment like so. And so now you should be in this position. Alright, so now that the cards are all in this position with the selection on the very bottom, you're just going to hold them neatly like this, and with this hand you're going to grip with the middle finger and the thumb on the edge. You'll use the pad of your thumb to count off 1, 2, and then 3, placing the double on top, all nice and neat. So you'll end up in this position. So once again, you're going to grip like this. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, with the pad of your finger, slide the topmost joker down. You're then going to contact these two cards, okay? The joker and the back of this card here with these fingers. And you're going to place your thumb on the bottom, and you're just going to push all of this forward until your thumb obviously stops you from going any further. And then you simply just peel this card out. From here, you're then just going to use the pads of your fingers to slide out the bottommost joker like this, move it to the top, and then you're going to slap both of these on top of the deck and just sort of spread the deck like this so that you can do the reveal. So once again, from the top, you're going to bring the deck here, use the pinky to peel off the bottommost card and place the deck into your position. Do a magical gesture and reveal that a card has appeared in between the two jokers. Place the deck to the side, pick up all three, square them up nice and neat over the top of the cop, and with your thumb pressing this card in as you kind of neatly align all of the cards, you're then going to re-grip all 4 cards like this using your middle finger. The pad of the thumb, it slides off 1, and then the second one, and then you're going to place the double on top. Then you're going to slide back with the index finger, place another finger here so that you're contacting both this, and put your thumb on the very back edge, slide it all forward. Obviously your thumb will stop you at a certain point, and then you're just going to peel this card out. Then re-grip here again with your thumb and your finger, I guess, and the pads of the fingers to slide out the bottommost joker. Move that to the top, place them on top of the deck, and then just sort of spread them out like so. And then you can reveal this card, a miracle. And there you have it. You've learned all the fundamentals of the trick. You just got to put it all together. You get a miracle, baby. And by taking those 2 cards, placing them on the top of the deck, and then spreading the deck out, you essentially get rid of the dirty underbelly of the trick. You basically just end clean. They can examine everything. They can look at the jokers, the card that was selected, the entire deck. Everything is clean. They can even check you out, because I know you're clean. Huh? You showering ass, looking ass mother. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and make sure you tune in next week where I'll be explaining why I have this. Call
me Bucky, lucky that I'm innocent. If I didn't have no morals, I'd be menacing.
I'll be having those likes.